So one of the things I've recently been working on in game is trying to perfect a handful of builds that I happen to use on a regular basis, because we all know with Year 5 Season 2, we are going to see incursions reintroduced to the Division franchise, and because we haven't seen any gameplay, we have no idea what types of builds are actually going to be viable in that game mode. So I've been spending my time going through the different build types in my inventory, whether it's a DPS build, a tank build, a skill build, and really trying to perfect certain aspects of it. And as I was going through them, I realized that many of them were centered around exotics in the game that are definitely must-haves. Therefore, today, my friends, I want to take a few minutes and go over the 10 exotics you definitely want to have in your inventory as we make our way to Year 5 Season 2. What is going on, my YouTube family? Welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and as we start this video off, my friends, I need to give a huge shout out to Lieutenant Buzz Lightbeer, who created the thumbnail you saw for this video. And this is something you've heard me say countless times at the channel. One of the best things, if not the best thing about this game, is the community that surrounds it. So Buzz, thank you so much. I mean, he sent me this thing completely unprompted, and for me it's confirmation how amazing this community is, especially when we work together. So Buzz, sincerely, thank you so much. Now, as we jump into this video, keep in mind many of you out there may have a lot of the exotics I'm about to mention. However, at the same time, I also know there is a large portion of the community who is missing out on a few of these items. Maybe you missed a certain season or accidentally deconstructed something, or you just never had the luck of getting certain items that were never in a seasonal reward track. Therefore, today, my fellow agents, in no particular order, I'm going through 10 exotics that I feel, in my opinion, are ones you definitely want to have. And even though I said in no particular order, you can bet your I'm starting with the Scorpio shotgun because it is by far my favorite weapon in the game. I pretty much use this thing on a daily basis, and it is so effective because of its talent Septic Shock, where shooting a target applies stacks of venom which last for 10 seconds. Increasing stacks add more severe debuffs to the target, and you can see how it breaks down below. Now for me, this is one of those items that is incredibly effective not only as a solo player, but when you're in a group as well. It is amazing for crowd control, so again, in my opinion, it is a definite must-have. Now the next weapon we're going over is the Capacitor Assault Rifle, and this once again happens to be one of those weapons that you can design so many different builds around because of its talent capacitance, where shooting enemies builds stacks to a cap of 40. Each stack grants 1.5% skill damage, and not only that, for each skill tier you have, you're going to gain 7.5 weapon damage as well, which makes this an amazing weapon to use, especially for different hybrid builds. Now our next exotic is from this season. It is St. Elmo's Engine. Now for me, and this is saying a lot, it is easily becoming my favorite weapon in the game, and you know how much I love my Scorpio, and the reason this is so effective is not only because of its talent, where shooting an enemy with this weapon will give you 1 stack, and at 100 stacks the next magazine will be filled with shock ammo. But as you look down to the mods, they really happen to put this weapon, in my opinion, into that next level category. We're talking 20% crit hit damage, 30 extra rounds, 20% weapon handling, and 20% crit hit chance as well. Now to finish off the weapon category, we have Lady Death and we have the Pestilence, and these are 2 exotics that were never in a seasonal reward track. So for many players out there, some of which are day 1 players, you never actually got these weapons. Make this a priority. Again, we have no idea what these incursions are going to be like, so you want to be prepared for whatever's happening, and these are incredibly effective and insanely fun to use. Making our way to the mask category, there are 3 that I want to mention. First of all, we have the Catharsis. This is amazing for not only a solo tank build, but when you're in a group as well, because you're getting that talent Vicious Cycle, where taking damage builds stacks to a cap of 30. Each stack grants 1% weapon damage. Taking damage at max stacks triggers a purge, which is then going to remove all stacks and status effects, and then drop a healing cloud which restores 5% of max armor for 10 seconds to all allies in the cloud. So again, it is very helpful for your entire team. And for those of you that are still on the hunt for this thing, you missed out on it in a previous season. It is in the general loot pool, but to the best of my knowledge, it is not in the targeted loot pool, which makes it that much harder to get, but it is definitely worth it when you pick this thing up. Now to finish out the category, we have Coyote's Mask and the Vial, and once again, these are items that are beneficial to both you and your teammates, which you always want to take into consideration when you're playing an incursion. Now the next item is the Waveform Holster, which is absolutely amazing for skill builds. I actually used this in a legendary build video that I posted yesterday. I will leave a link to it if you missed it in the video description down below. Now, as I said earlier, because we have no idea at this point what the setup of the incursion is going to be, we have no idea if skill builds are actually going to be viable, but even if you have no intent on playing the incursions and you like running with a skill build, this is a definite must-have that you want to pick up. Next, my friends, we have Sawyer's knee pads, and for me, these are incredibly effective when I'm using a rifle build or a sniper build because you're in cover. It does take some getting used to make sure you're always using this talent, because in order for it to be truly effective, meaning so you can get max stacks, you need to be completely and totally still, which may be foreign to some of you out there who are run and gun players, but once you get it down, it's an absolute monster to use. And last but not least, and this should be no surprise, we have the Memento backpack, which in my opinion is the best backpack in the game without a doubt. Now again, if you do not have this, you can farm for it anywhere the backpack is the targeted loot. I wish you nothing but the best of luck, and as always, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know. Now, as I start to wrap this video up, this was actually a very tough list to narrow down to 10, and the reason for that is because it all depends on your build. I mean, I failed to mention the Nemesis or the Mantis, and for those of you that love sniper builds, those are absolute monsters. So once again, my fellow agents, always remember these are going to be dependent on you and your gameplay. And let's say for those of you out there who have some exotics you do not use on a regular basis, let's use the tardigrade as an example. Those could be incredibly helpful when we get into these incursions. So in my opinion, now is the perfect time to be working on certain builds in your game. We're talking tank builds, DPS builds, skill builds, whatever it is. Like I said earlier, we are a family here, so if you have any exotics you definitely love running with, please let me know what they are in the comments section down below, as the main goal here is to help out as many people as we can and share as much information as possible. With all that being said, I want to take a moment as always and thank you all for your incredible support of this channel. Now, we are currently having a giveaway here for an Xbox Series S. We're actually giving away two, and all you need to do to enter is either subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winners will be announced on October 1st of this year. One final thing I'd like to mention really quick, and it's something I've been talking about for the past week and a half. I will be bringing you a standalone video talking about incursions, what they are in the first game, what we hope to see in the second, and my goal is to get that to you by the beginning of next week. It's been a little bit hectic, things seem to be back on track, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully a great season 2 in the game. That is going to do it for this video, my friends. Again, thank you so much for the privilege of your time, and as I mention at the end of every one of these, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, but most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.
That should keep them from getting more of those mortars.
You think those fellows are smart? Fuck you! You locked yourself in with them. Now that you can rock down here. Up there!
Good work. Go on and head back up. The team from the campus has taken position inside the memorial.